Hello and welcome to another edition of Motor Cars Enthusiasts. Right off the bat on the old show today, what was a couple of shows ago, we talked about General Motors and this humongous recall that's now going forth. Apparently this is a lot bigger and a lot worse than anybody previously expected. Two of the main culprits of these vehicles include the Saturn Ion, which was sold in great numbers, along with its kissing cousin, if you will, the Chevrolet Cobalt. Now, both of these vehicles sold in huge amounts of numbers, and apparently just between these two cars, General Motors has a very serious issue when it comes to these two vehicles as far as this recall is concerned. Now, to recap of this deal, what actually has ended up happening is, and what General Motors claiming, is that folks with a lot of heavy keys, lots of key rings and accessories and stuff, weighed down the key cylinders and actually affected the starter mechanism inside the key tumbler to actually fail, which actually shuts off the car and then actually lets go of everything. So it locks the steering and it doesn't allow the airbags, which is probably the most important thing as far as this particular situation. And the fact is, well, at least what one company is actually looking into. The Center of Auto Safety says through data from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration that the death toll, because just between these two automobiles, is seriously large. It's over 300 folks apparently have passed away just in these two vehicles alone, and that are supposedly attributed to this airbag being disabled once this car actually ends up shutting off. Now, with this kind of death toll, this is pretty serious business. The folks over at Autoline.tv looked into this a little bit more and shows that General Motors actually puts away $500 per automobile that they sell for situations that could come up with any vehicle. Now, this is over $3 billion worth of cash that is put aside a year, and supposedly they're sitting on a war chest of somewhere around $7.2 billion. Now, the folks over at Merrill Lynch have actually claimed that this recall alone is going to cost around $80 million, and that's just in repairs. So the lawsuit situation, and I'm sure that there's a lot of lawyers trying to look for a loophole around this situation, because apparently the General Motors that actually had all those issues doesn't exist anymore because of the bankruptcy that they went through. And there's an old General Motors that all these lawsuits would end up going into, and that General Motors doesn't exist anymore. So it's going to be an interesting situation, at least moving forward, and terrible tragedies for all these folks who are involved in these particular accidents. So we'll see what comes of this in the future, but this is apparently a way bigger situation that even the new General Motors is going to get a serious black eye. This story doesn't seem to be going away anytime soon. Next up on the list, the brand new LaFerrari, claiming that the new Ferrari from Ferrari has actually gotten so much press and so much interest from folks that the actual CEO claims, being Luca di Mamazemolo, actually came out and said that their interest in this car has been so great, and the actual amount that they're going to build, which I think is over 600, almost 700 units of this car, that the interest way outruns the actual supply of this particular deal. And a lot of folks were very disappointed not to be able to get their hands on this. Well, Luca di Mamazemolo at Geneva actually came out and said they've got a thing in the pike for all those folks that are really interested in owning one of these automobiles, which has got the internets all ablaze because Mr. Mamazemolo wouldn't actually come out and say just what exactly he had in mind for all those folks that didn't get their grubby little hands on a LaFerrari. Now, the internet really seems to think, and a lot of websites are claiming that these vehicles, they're going to build one of those high-end track car version. Remember the FXX from the Enzo days? Apparently they're going to be building one of these. I'm thinking a little bit different in my mind. This is just my rumor and my rumor alone. I want to think that they may build a target top or maybe a soft top version of one of these LaFerraris. Maybe they build a whole new group of these things. That would be pretty doggone interesting. But it's got the internet all abuzz at what possibly could be coming down the pike. Maybe we'll find out something as early as Paris Motor Show, maybe later in the year at the LA Motor Show or something. So we'll keep you in tune if we find out anything more. Next up on the list, well, the past couple of shows we talked about that brand new, super cool Honda Civic Type R, and I made a little bit of a personal plea for the folks over at Honda to please send this automobile over here to the United States. Well, one fella up in Minnesota actually went one step further. This one being Nikos Stefotos. He actually went to a website called change.org, and he's put together a petition, which I have personally signed, which has actually gotten signatures from 11,375 folks so far, needing only another 3,625 folks left. Those are 15,000 signatures that he's going to try to promote and try to get Honda to bring these cars to the United States. Now, we don't even get the Civic that the Type R was coming in on, and Nicholas, he is actually not asking for just a warmed over Civic that we already get here with maybe a turbo on it or nothing. No, we want the full money. We want the full beans in this car. So it would mean a whole situation that Honda, and they've actually already heard the cries of a lot of Honda faithful and a lot of folks that really want the Type R to actually make it to U.S. shores. They keep claiming that there's no business case to actually make that possible, but have already said that nothing's impossible, and we never say never. So I will put this link on the Facebook page where you can sign this petition yourself if you live here in the United States. Also, I'll put this link down in the show notes so you won't even have to go to the Facebook page. You can link up right here and sign that petition yourself. And that's all there was that I thought was worth talking about for this week's Motor Cars Enthusiast. If you want to jump on over to the Facebook page, the link's down in the show notes. Also, if you want to subscribe to the channel, you can do so at any time and get the first dibs on the brand new shows as soon as they come out. Thanks for watching. We'll see you again real soon.